This is workshop number 1, video number 4, and we are talking about the importance of a mind flush. So during the training, I asked anyone to raise their hand if they ever felt busy or overwhelmed, and lots of people raised their hands. And I would say if you never feel busy, if you never feel overwhelmed, your goals are not big enough. But if you spend your whole life in a constant state of busyness, in a constant state of overwhelm, that is because you have not organized your thoughts. You have too many thoughts spinning around in your head, and because you don't have them organized, you're constantly trying to make sure you don't forget things. You're thinking, I need to do this and I need to do that, and that person needs me. Oh, and I haven't finished this. And all those thoughts just spin round and round and round and give you that sense of busyness. The same thing when you know you have so many things coming up and they're not written down and it's not scheduled in a logical order, you can feel overwhelmed by everything that you know you need to do. Whereas if you have a plan, if you have everything written down, then it lessens that sense of overwhelm. The other thing that people deal with constantly in certain industries is emergencies or unplanned tasks or people knocking on their door needing something from them. Most of these things are classified as emergencies, but if you actually look at all these things that people think are emergencies, probably less than 5% of them are true emergencies where a business could shut down or there's loss of life or something critical like that. Emergencies generally are just unplanned tasks or something that someone else has left until the last minute and they need you to fix. So how do we fix emergencies and busyness and overwhelm? It's very simple. We do a mind flush. Now you will hear me talking about mind flushes a lot. It is because I work with a lot of people in the generator industry, and whenever you do a flush and fill, it's where you back flush your cooling system and you get all the nasty gunk out of the system and you put in new coolant or antifreeze or something. I've never done a flush and fill, but I know that that's the idea. I like the image of flushing out all my disorganized, yucky thoughts and putting back in nice, organized thoughts. But doing a mind flush is not complicated. All you have to do is sit down with a piece of paper, a lined piece of paper or a blank piece of paper, and write down everything that you need to get done. And it is as simple as that. Some people have great difficulty writing down the things that they're on their mind. They're so conditioned, so trained to keep everything in their head that it's very hard to get it down on paper. But I encourage you to do this. There are 2 different kinds of mind flush you can do. One is just a general mind flush. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling busy, you just start with everything that you have to get done this morning, this afternoon, today, tomorrow, this week, next week, the week after, this month, next month, and just keep building and building and building. And if you really, really want to do like a full mind flush, you can start thinking about what you want to do next year, in 5 years, in 10 years, and write down a lot of hopes and dreams as well. Because when you have a long-term vision, a long-term goal for your life, it makes everything that you do in the moment just a little bit easier because it's just a stepping stone towards a great future. So that's kind of a general mind flush. It really is as simple as that. You are literally getting your thoughts down on paper, because once they're out of your head and down on paper, your brain can go, okay, I've written it down, I can calm down. The other kind of mind flush that you can do is one that's very focused. So if you are dealing with a particular problem or a particular issue, then you can do a very targeted, focused mind flush on how you can fix that issue, or how you can make a process more efficient, or whatever the specific issue is. You write down all the things that you could do to fix that problem. Some of those things you need to think very big and expansive. You've got to think outside the box, because you want to be, even if it's something that you don't know how to do, if it's something that you've seen a customer do, if you've seen something that maybe will work, write it all down on your mind flush, and then you can decide whether or not you are going to be able to get it done. So those are the 2 kinds of mind flush. Get a very broad, very general one, or a very, very specific mind flush on a problem that you're dealing with. And as soon as you've got all those thoughts out of your head, if you are someone who's not used to writing things down and your list is very long, you can probably feel very overwhelmed. If you are totally resistant to doing a mind flush, I suggest that you schedule it for early in the morning and you schedule something that you enjoy to do straight afterwards. And if it's overwhelming to you, write down the top 10 things that you know you have to accomplish. Start there and then build on it. start easy. I always like to start at the easiest way possible, at the minimum that you can get done to create an impact, which should be writing down your top 10 things. But I encourage you to do a full mind flush. So when you've got your list of priority, or your list of everything that's on your mind written down on your mind flush, then you need to go through and you just need to circle the things that have to get done this week. Everything else you can forget about. And then once you've got them circled, you need to prioritize them, 1 through 10 or 15, depending on how many things have to get done this week. And once you've prioritized the things that have to get done this week, keep your mind flush list somewhere safe so you don't lose it, but then you can forget about everything else that's on that list. You'll come back to it next week when you need to schedule out next week. So you look at the things that you have to get done this week, and then you look at your calendar or your phone or wherever you schedule your things. And if you don't ever schedule your time, it's okay to put it on a sticky note and say, tomorrow morning I'm going to do these top 3 things, because you need to look at that prioritized mind flush and decide what are the top 3 things that you have to get done. And of those top 3 things, what is the most important? And that most important task becomes your number 1 priority. And throughout this program, you are going to be asked, hey, what's your top 3 tasks? What's your number 1 priority? When are you going to get them done? So you have to know your top 3 tasks. Now, the other thing that you have to remember, because of what you know about the primitive brain, do not base your top 3 tasks on what's easy, what's comfortable for you, or what you can get done the quickest. Actually put some thought into it. What are those top 3 tasks that are going to have the biggest impact on your results? And we will talk a little bit more about your number 1 priority and top 3 tasks in the next video. But what you need to do, you need to get rid of your overwhelm and sense of busyness and be able to deal with emergencies by writing down everything that's on your mind and then prioritizing it. You'll be able to define if it truly is an emergency, because you'll look at the top things that you have to get done this week. If that unexpected task is going to create better results or is more important than something you've got on your prioritized mind flush, then you need to do it. If it's not, if it can be put off until you've completed your top 3 tasks, then you know it's not a true emergency and you can get everything in line and in the correct order because you have a list of priorities. So do your mind flush, either general, either specific on a problem, and then prioritize it, and then identify what you need to get done this week, and then look at those lists of tasks you need to get done this week and decide what are your top 3 tasks and your number 1 priority, and then get them scheduled. So good luck.